Hey everyone, welcome back to the next episode here of the Inchstones podcast. I'm here with Alyssa Sierra. She is a mother in my extended group of support and autism moms here locally in New Jersey. But most importantly, she is the mother to Gabriel. And Gabriel is a young little boy around Mac's age who also has a diagnosis of autism. And what I love being able to focus on and share and illuminate this month of May is the one-on-one conversations, the lived reality on the ground, what actual mothers that are sitting here on the front lines in the trenches of severe and profound autism and what that actually looks like. Because when I was starting along my own journey years and years and years ago, I just wanted to know, well, what does the other mom feel? What's the mom that I didn't even know existed? What does she feel a month into this, a year into this? So that's why I'm doing these interviews this month. And Alyssa, thank you so much for being so willing to be vulnerable and share yours.
It's exciting. So thank you very much for giving us a voice because it is very different and very difficult, especially when you have kids that have profound autism. Like I was telling you before, don't take anything away from higher functioning or whatever however you want to place it. But it is we as moms worry about our kids' safety, the future. I mean, regular things that everybody does as well, but it is different for us because we know our kids don't fully understand. So that's the thing that I think getting it out there is a great place to start, at least.
It's my honor and it's what sat on my heart as my mission as soon as I was able to give back. Take me back, Alyssa. It's hour one, day one, week one, after Gabriel received his diagnosis of autism. What were you feeling in those first moments?
So he was diagnosed at 2. It was like a month after his second birthday, October 7th, actually, of 2020.
Isn't that crazy that those dates you remember?
Well, I remember it because then the next year, on the exact same day, 1 year apart, I got diagnosed with MS. So it's like
Wow.
some shit, you know what I mean? Like, so, uh, but in that moment, Dad and I already knew. So to me, it was just a solidification
Hmm.
on what we as mother's intuition, parents' intuition, whatever you want to call it, like you were talking about, we sort of knew. So in that moment, I was very strong. I didn't
Hmm.
cry. I remember I didn't cry for like weeks
Hmm.
until like weeks after. It was more like, okay, let's get it started. Let's start down the path. What do we need to do? Let's get in touch with the social worker from Children's Specialized. Let's get names of ABA centers. Let's get another doctor appointment, things like that. I was very tunnel vision focused on what's the next step. Let's do this, because that's the type of stuff that gives me like anxiety is, okay, now what do we have to do? Now, how are we going?
Once you had that diagnosis, you felt like you could get the plan moving.
Exactly. And I think also because I've been through a lot in life, like earlier in life and stuff like that, I'm better at the big things, which is just like a personal thing. I don't know. Doesn't mean I never get like upset or anything, but I'm better at the bigger things than like the smaller things give me anxiety. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I understand that a lot. Like so if the bigger overarching theme was like you were able to digest that and to process that, and the harder part being sort of those like little pivots all the time and what's next. Those are, sometimes for me, they're paralyzing because it's so much logistical, right? But what were the small little things that were most emotional for you then?
We have a big group of like my husband's friends and everything like that. And they're like very close knit and we're like the wives are all very close and stuff like that. He's had them since like high school. So it's like a big, and now we're all growing and have had kids and stuff. So there's a ton of us. Um, Probably I remember the first time I sat down with his best friend and his best
Yeah.
friend's wife after the diagnosis. That's when I cried. And it was like weeks after, just talking about it, like talking about the what needs to happen and what the doctor said and stuff like that. It wasn't so much as him being autistic, it was more like explaining it to people that are big parts of our life, I think. And even like my family in New York and stuff like that, just explaining like, yeah, there's going to be challenges and
Yeah.
For people that don't know and
I think, like, I was talking to a mutual friend of ours for a different episode and saying, like, it's almost like the when you share it, like how you were sharing it with your, your friend in a more social setting or, like, with a family, and you have to preface it with, like, "I'm no longer on this, like, typical motherhood journey. Like, I've now jumped into a road that society or culture or, like, whatever media, whatever, has never really taught me what I should think about this. Like, I'm gonna be a great mom and I'm gonna keep moving. But, like, I don't know what I don't know, and I'm no longer next to you. Like, I'm no longer on that highway."
this is
That's
very
like
different.
so,
Yeah.
like, that jump, it's almost like like the tears that come from it, because I experienced something similar. Like, the tears that come from it are like, I'm no longer with you on this path. Like, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
that
they're your good
and it's
friends and
not
you're
about the kids. It's literally about, like, I'm no longer gonna experience life the same way with
yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's wild. It's been difficult. Sorry, I may cry.
No, I know. I am too.
So we have, those friends specifically,
Yeah.
they've been so wonderful and they understand. I mean, I've
Mhm.
had Gabe have behaviors over at their house where like he bit somebody and it's like everybody was so understanding. A lot of people don't have that,
Yeah.
so I don't think I realized how much it was going to be different. Like you're talking about
Mhm.
trajectory until I was in it for a little while,
Yeah.
and I knew he was different, but not less. And
Mhm.
every that we knew, like, treated him like that, like, very, he's just a little different. He still plays and things like that. But
Mhm.
so I'm very blessed for that. But yeah, I don't think I realized how different it would be until like he got a little bit older and like things started happening and his behaviors started happening and stuff. 'Cause, also it's very different when you have a behavioral kid, even
Yeah.
from other like
Oh, yeah.
autism, like, moms
So
who have
having a girl, like, listen,
behavioral.
having a girl, my Millie, a daughter with the same profound non-speaking autism, she does not have behaviors like my son does. Like, there's just not, it's and so even that
There's difference.
is a
Yeah,
difference. I will tell you, I mean, this is no harm, no foul to any of my children, but Mac is a tougher child. Like, he is and his sister with the same diagnosis can generally be cared for with a more typical caregiver than he can. And that severity, like, that matters. That difference matters because it's safety, it's health, it's, it's a
understanding.
physical, yeah, like, there's something deeply physical, much more physical about it. And, when you are tasked to raise and be the mother of that, knowing the difference, I mean, screw typical. Like, there's actually differences even in between, severe behavioral and self-injurious behavior autism as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, I'm so happy that I have a, you know, great group of autism moms that, like, understand it. But, like was saying, like, even within that, they all have their little things that are different that, like, I don't understand that, their kid does something. That's why I always say when you've met one autistic person, you've met
Yep,
one autistic child.
yep.
It's not there could have similarities, things like
Mhm.
that, but even the behaviors or how they're aggressive or little things that they do, it's not the same in every other kid. So there is differences. And, I do have another child. I have a 2.5-year-old and she is on the trajectory to be typical. So it's very different parenting. I'm going through now as, she grows older in toddler years. It's like cool to see certain things that I didn't get to see with Gabe, but it's also like heartbreaking too. But she's already like recognizing that he's different and it can be challenging because if he gets upset, she screams because she's like, "Oh, he's being loud," and she's hit us before because
Exactly.
he's
She's
at
witnessed. Yeah,
and
she's
and
witnessed and
it's
modeled. Yeah.
and it sucks because you want to discipline her in a certain way that you maybe can't discipline him in the same way. And
Yeah.
she probably inside her head thinks, well, it's okay if he does it. Why can't I?
Think
So,
about that. I mean, the beautiful complexity in raising a typical daughter and then having my, severely
yeah,
autistic children is that I get to do both. I always laugh at them. Like, I'm literally sitting on 2 planets of parenthood, and I love both of them, but and it's beautiful to have the complexity and, like, the nuance, but having a typically developing child alongside children with profound autism creates a I wish I could clone myself because the capacity, to your point, like, you're churning through things from a motherhood point of view that the majority of mothers don't even think about. They're not even conscious to it, that you're going, "I have to parent her in a way that is right for her to," and you get to understand this, that a typically developing child will respond to, right? She will respond to discipline, she will respond to boundaries in a way that, you know, Gabriel, Millie, and Mac do not respond to. And so that complexity that lies in it is really heavy sometimes. It can be beautiful. I mean, I always think, like, what did it add to my life? I probably see things I have a lot more capacity to see the gray in a lot more situations probably than I used to. Would you say that that's true about you too?
that's definitely true with my husband for sure. My husband is very black and white.
Mhm.
He wants an answer for everything. Why is this happening? Why is this okay? What exactly can we do? Is this gonna solve this? He's a very like soft. I've always been sort of a person who can see gray, who can see both sides. So in that aspect, it hasn't changed certain perspectives like that. But now with the parenting, it's more difficult, I think, with the parenting now with the typical child because she's also younger. So it's like she hasn't she's growing up seeing this.
That's right. She's
And
only
so
known this. She's
yeah,
only
so it's like,
yeah.
hopefully once she gets a little bit older, like 4 or 5, we can explain it in a way that she becomes more, like, empathetic and, that it changes her in that way.
You sound like you have such an incredible support system. I wanna go back to that with, like, the friend group and your families. Um, how would you coach another mom or parent that maybe doesn't have that and is seeking to ask for more help from people that do really truly love their families and their kiddos? Is there a way that you've realized that really helps to resonate and make those in your circle maybe provide more organic help when you need it? Is there anything that you can share about that?
See, it's hard because as supportive as everybody in my life is, I wouldn't like, to help with Gabe,
Mhm.
I wouldn't ask anybody to, just because of the complexity of some of his behaviors. As
How about
people
when you were saying you were sharing, as he received a diagnosis and there are times where, you are in those settings where he is behavioral and you have this loving sort of, net of support that's right there. Do you think that that came from being open about the difficulties? Do you think that they when they're around you, they're able to like sort of love and protect and hold you because you are so open about what those struggles are?
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have people in my life that, like, genuinely, like, wanna know
Yeah.
as well, and they, like, preface everything. Like, even some of Manny's friends, they'll talk to me when we're at a party
Mhm.
or whatever, a get together. They're like, "I'm just gonna say this, you guys deal with so much, you
Yeah.
are so strong," how everybody
Yeah.
says, "You're so
Yeah.
strong," this and that. I don't they always preface it by saying that, and it's like, "That's great." And they ask me questions, like, to really deep dive into it and stuff, and just a lot of people, I guess, just don't have that. As much as it's great, it's also like, you really don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah,
As
and it
much
gets
as you want to,
difficult.
it's like, I really
Yeah,
can't teach it because it's like, I'm not gonna have you come over and watch him when we go out or whatever, because I wouldn't wanna do that to you because you don't understand.
the burden is so heavy sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't wanna put that on the other people,
Yeah.
you know?
What about the mom that just received a diagnosis? After you've experienced this and, have lived so beautifully in directing Gabriel through, years now. What do you tell the moms or have you had moms come to you and say, "What do I do?"
Yeah, I mean, and, I'm part of, like, a bunch of Facebook groups and stuff like that, and I'm always, you know, I really, really honestly have tried to be the positive, like,
Mhm.
bright light for moms and stuff like that. The close people in my life, I'm like, "This is shit," but
Yeah.
when I first meet,
Silver
it's
lining, yeah.
you don't want them to feel like it's a death sentence. It's not a death sentence, it's
It's
just
not
different. Make your brain just tell yourself, like, "This is just a different,"
not wrong,
you
it's
know,
just different.
and you will have to do things that you probably never thought you would do, or bend in certain ways that you never thought you would bend, and in a way, it helps you see the beauty in certain things, and it can make you positive if you let yourself. I just said it to so I'm a lunch aide at a elementary school in town, and I said it to one of the kids that I see her outside the classroom as well, and I said, this day and age, all the kids are, like, obsessed with screens, and you know, how they do things, and their socialization is just different than when we were growing up. And I said, that's one thing I'm happy with, my son gets to stay a child longer.
Yeah.
And I say that to a lot of people, and they're like, "Oh, I never thought about it like that." If you
Yeah.
just can change a
Oh,
part of that to
that's such
see
a
the
beautiful perspective.
brightness. Yeah.
Yeah, because, there's a childhood wonderment
Yes.
because they develop a slower and on a much different timeline that you do get to see them as children for a longer
So much
period of time.
longer. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And, if you can, you're outside with them or whatever, if they like being outside. Sometimes my son will, when it's windy, just, like, look up at the
Yes.
and, like, how
Yes.
the leaves move.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, it's so beautiful to see him see things that we just take for granted.
But we
Because
just
I'm like,
walk
"What is
past
he
it and
thinking?"
they force a pause. I love that so much, Alyssa, because Millie did really just discovered that there's a moon, like, she's, 11 years
Really?
old. She, like, discovered the moon. It was like something clicked, 6 months ago, and she looked up, and I was like, "Sweet, yeah, that's the moon, it's all the way up there," and on her device, she's like, "Moon, moon, stars, moon," and I'm like, "I know," and, like, she does this, like, head twitch thing where she's, like, looking up at it and, like, trying to get at different angles, and it forced me to go, "Gosh, you're right, like, that is powerful." Just to stand in awe of, like, the moon and the stars.
Yeah, and it makes you as the parent take a little bit of joy into something that they see differently. Like, they're truly just
Really?
different. They think differently, and that is okay.
Yeah.
As much as you want things to be different, and, like, I would love for Gabe to talk one day.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
come to terms, and I think you sort of this is, an opinion that I would, give somebody, is put all the expectations away, pray for the best, hope for the best, pray, work through the worst of it, and just say, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, because you have to adjust your expectations. Because then you're like, shit, like, I really, and then you get in a ditch, in a rut, and you feel
A
like then
loop and a
come out of
cycle
it.
that you can't
Yeah,
get
and
out of it.
it'll drive you crazy. Just, you have to let go of expectations in a way.
Yeah.
As much as you want them to strive to talk, or whatever the case is, you have to sort of let go of your own expectations, because
Right, I
it'll
mean,
just hurt
because
you
you
in the
can
end.
want those things, I
Yeah,
always say, "You haven't have these desires." I have a lot of desires. I have a lot of desire for my typical developing child.
right.
At the end of the day, their life is not based on what my expectations of them are. Their life is based on what is going to happen to them, who's gonna come into their life to form and help guide them to become the best version of who they're meant to be. And I
Yeah,
think you're so spot on with that, Alyssa, that if we can harness the release of expectations, you actually will find more joy in the process of something that's really difficult and really hard, but then you don't get stuck in sort of what's the phrase that a friend of mine was using recently, like hit the tar baby. Like if you constantly are punching what you know is not going to happen right now, you get stuck. You get stuck and you just keep pulling, and then you get dragged down, and the more that you can just let go of what expectations you might have had, you might be able to see those inchstones of development, those beautiful byproducts of the work that you are doing and how you are guiding them. It'll become the joy on the journey.
yeah, and there is joy in it. I do have to say, there is joy.
There
It's
is.
not all terror and bad. Of course, you're always going to have this like weight on yourself, just being a parent in general. And then it's sort of like amplified when you have a kid with profound autism. But just try and find the joy as much as you can because it'll just terrorize you if you don't.
Yeah.
You know,
If people were to listen and take away one thing from you and from this conversation and remember one thing, what would it be?
again, just try and find something positive out of what your child is going through. It's hard when you're in the trenches and like we were just going through it, for a couple weeks, really increase in aggressive behaviors and things like that. And it's like it is survival. But once you start to get out of that or you see your kid doing something joyful or looking at the leaves and you can think, really try and let yourself think, I wonder what
Mhm.
they're thinking and just try and be positive in that moment.
Yeah. I think it's so powerful. And it's I think the reason why we get to parent children like ours, I think that it's one of the most beautiful byproducts. While it is grown in the depths of some really, really hard and tough realizations, the ability to reorient and harness and find the joy and the good will never be the wrong choice. Alyssa, thank you so much for sharing your story today. I know that it's going to so many. And when we hear and stand witness and testify and share about what that day in and day out looks like, I don't think it ever goes wasted upon the ears of other mothers going through something similar. So thank you for being so open and sharing today.
Of course, it's hard, but they're still your children, and you love them like you would any of your kids.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you again for your time. And everyone, thank you for listening here to Alyssa's beautiful testimony here on the Inchstones podcast. Until next
So,
time.
bye.